everyone out there to please be safe. Uh, Carry on good sanitation practices. Use your hand sanitizers. Wash your hands with soap and water. Keep your hands away from your face. The virus is not on vacation. The virus is still active. COVID 19 is still active. So it's important to maintain your social distancing. Make sure you don't get into any crowds. Again, I cannot emphasize enough the importance of using hand sanitizers. Wash your hands with good old fashioned soap and water. And by all means, out there, when you're in the public, keep your hands away from your face and wear your mask or some type of face covering. Please, we are trying to keep the virus low in our community. We are trying our very best, and I emphasize to you. I also want to send out a shout to my good friend, Miss Helen, who always listens to the show. Today, I just want to primarily talk about the up and coming election. We have citywide election on tomorrow. Tomorrow, June 2nd, starting at 7 a.m. up until 7 p.m. That's your window to vote on tomorrow. 7 in the morning up until 7 tomorrow evening is a city election day here in the city of Natchez. So, want to just emphasize that to everyone. Let me tell you about your voter precincts. Your voter precincts are totally different from the county precincts where you vote for, county boards of supervisors or governors. Those are county precincts. They're different from your city precincts. So I'm going to go down the list for you and tell you where each of your precincts are. For Ward 1, those of you who live in Ward 1 of the city of Natchez, your voter precinct is the council chambers, the city council chambers. That's at 115 South Pearl Street. That's directly across the street from City Hall. It's across the street from City Hall. The council chambers. That's for all citizens who vote in Ward 1. Those of you who vote in Ward 2 in the city of Natchez, you go to Frazier Elementary School, or I think it's known as Frazier Primary. It's the old North Side School on George F. West Boulevard. So those of you who vote in Ward 2, again, you go to Frazier Primary, also known as North Side School. Those of you who vote in Ward 3, you go to Cross Point Church. And Cross Point Church is the old skating rink, and that's on Highland Boulevard, 285 Highland Boulevard. Those of you who vote in Ward 3 in the city of Natchez. Ward 4, you will vote at Christian Hope Baptist Church there on Gayosa Street. Christian Hope Baptist Church on Gayosa and LaSalle. It's right there on the corner. So those of you who vote in Ward 4 for the city of Natchez, you go to Christian Hope Baptist Church on the corner of Gayosa and LaSalle. And more specifically, you will vote in the Fellowship Hall, which is located on the LaSalle Street side. Ward 5, you vote at the Adams County Safe Room. The Adams County Safe Room. That's out there off of Liberty Road. It is right next to the old convention center on Liberty Road. If you know where the swimming pool is located, that's where the Adams County Safe Room. So Ward 5, you vote at the Safe Room. Ward 6, you will vote at Duncan Park Canteen. At the Duncan Park Canteen. And that's out, of course, at Duncan Park. It's at 57 Duncan Park, Ward 6. You vote at the Duncan Park Canteen. So again, your city precincts are totally different from your county precincts. In Adams County, we have a total of 20 county precincts that are scattered throughout Adams County. Don't focus on your county precincts. Focus on your city precincts, because this is a city election, a citywide election. So you only go to those city precincts. And again, Ward 1 at the council chambers across from City Hall. Ward 2, you will vote at Frazier Elementary or Primary School, known as Old Northside. Ward 3, you vote at Cross Point Church. It's the old skating rink on Highland Boulevard. Ward 4, you will vote at Christian Hope Baptist Church, and more specifically in the Fellowship Hall located on LaSalle Street. Ward 5, you vote at the Adams County Safe Room, also known as the Lewis Gunning Safe Room, across from the swimming pool. In Ward 6, you will vote at the Duncan Park Canteen. When you go into Duncan Park, you make a right, and it will lead you to the old canteen, and that's where you will vote. Now, what's on the ballot tomorrow? On the ballot, we have the mayor's race, and there are several alderman races that are contested. So you will have an opportunity to vote for mayor for the city of Natchez. And no, I am not on the ballot. I am not running again for mayor. So you have two individuals that will be on the ballot for tomorrow, because this is called a primary election. So basically, it's a party election. You will have Democrats and Republicans, but for the mayor's race, there are no Republicans running. So it will strictly be a Democrat race tomorrow for mayor. And there are two individuals that are on the ballot for the mayor's race. You have Dan Gibson, and you have Ernest Tony Fields. Those are your two candidates that are running on the Democratic ticket for the office of mayor for the city of Natchez. They will be on every ballot of every precinct in the city of Natchez. So all citizens in the city of Natchez will have an opportunity to vote for mayor. In the past, I've had people who live outside the city limits, like people who live in Broadmoor and in some other areas, asking, if they could vote for mayor. No, you cannot, because you have to be within the city limits in order to be able to vote for mayor. You also have candidates that are contesting various races in the wards for aldermen. For example, in Ward 1, you have Valencia Hall and you have Joyce Arsenault Mathis, who are running in Ward 1. Ward 2, Billy Joe Frazier is unopposed. Ward 3, you have Sarah Carter Smith, who is unopposed. Ward 4, you have several that are running there. You have Michael Calco, you have Felicia Bridgewater Irving, and you have Rick Todd that are all running in Ward 4. In Ward 5, Ben Davis, or also known as Benjamin Davis, he's unopposed. And in Ward 6, Leon, give me the list for Ward 6. Okay. I can't retrieve all of the candidates that are running Ward 6. I don't want to call any names, and I don't have everybody included. So Leon is checking on Ward 6 for me. But again, on tomorrow, when you arrive at your precincts, make sure that you have your mask. I strongly urge you to wear your mask. It's not mandated, but we are strongly encouraging individuals to please wear their mask when they go into the precinct. There will be plenty of hand sanitizer. So when you go in there, you have to use the door to open to go in. Immediately sanitize your hands when you go in, because your hands could be contaminated simply by opening the door. So make sure you use the hand sanitizer. Also, you would need to take your picture IDs with you. And I know some people might have expired ID from the state of Mississippi with the Department of Public Safety being closed during this pandemic. That's fine. If you have an old ID, long as it's not over 10 years old, it is fine. Any picture ID, whether it is a state-issued pictured ID or a state driver's license, it can be an employment ID, it can be a school ID, long as you have a picture ID. And it can be an old ID, long as it is not over 10 years old. So make sure you carry your ID with you. Now, what they're going to do is that you will, of course, once you show your ID, you're going to have to sign the book. All of the pens will be disposable, so you will not be reusing a pen that a previous voter used. So pens will be new pens. Each person will get a different pen so that there will not be any cross-contamination. Further, when you go to the voting machine, they're going to give you a little special pen called a stylus. And you're going to use that stylus in order to vote on the machine. That way your fingers will not come in contact with the actual voting machine itself, so that you don't get contaminated. They're going to give you a stylus that you will use on the voting machine in order to cast your votes for your candidates of choice. So make sure you keep that in mind. And then they're going to periodically take that machine and they're going to constantly disinfect in order to sanitize it. So there will be plenty of sanitizing going on. We even have plexiglass that have been set up to separate the person who comes to vote from the poll worker so that you don't have a face-to-face contact. What we call as a sneeze guard is basically a plexiglass sneeze guard. I've ordered those on last week. They're in and they're set up at each of the voter precincts. So again, people, please, I urge you to please carry your mask. Now, Ward 6 Alderman race, I couldn't retrieve all of the candidates at the moment.
I got them.
They sent it to me, so I have it. It's Dan Dillard, it's Eric Rice, and Queen Ella Wilson. Those are the three candidates for the alderman seat in Ward 6 for tomorrow. So let me run down that list again. Every citizen will have an opportunity to vote for mayor on tomorrow for the Democratic candidates. You have Dan Gibson, you have Ernest Tony Fields. In Ward 1, you have Valencia Hall, Joyce Arsenault Mathis. Ward 2, Billy Joe Frazier is unopposed. Ward 3, Sarah Carter Smith is unopposed. Ward 4, you will have Michael Calco, Felicia Bridgewater Irving, Rick Todd. Ward 5, Benjamin Davis, also known as Ben Davis, is unopposed. Ward 6, you have Dan Dillard, Eric Rice, Queen Ella Wilson. And again, every ballot will have the Democratic candidate for mayor, Ernest Tony Fields and Dan Gibson. Those are your two Democratic candidates that will be on the ballot for tomorrow. Now, that's going to be the primary election. On June 23rd is going to be the runoff day. So if any of those particular categories, and I think there is two, that's Ward 4 and 6, if there has to be a runoff, the runoff will be on June 23rd. And the general election, that's when, your independents and the top Democratic vote getters and whatever Republican candidates you have out there, they will all be on the ballot for the general election. And the general election is on July 14th. So those are the dates for the elections for the city of Natchez. And the new mayor and the new board will take office on July 24th. So I guess July 24th will be my last day as mayor on July 24th. Until they take the oath of office, then I pass the torch on to the next mayor for the city of Natchez. So again, tomorrow, your primary elections, that's June 2nd tomorrow from 7 a.m. until 7 p.m. You have a 12-hour window to go and cast your vote. Ward 1, you vote at the City Council chambers across from City Hall. Ward 2, you vote at the Fraser primary, known as Northside. Ward 3, you will vote at Cross Point Church, the old skating rink on Highland Boulevard. Ward 4, you will vote at Christian Hope Fellowship Hall, that's on LaSalle Street. Ward 5, you will vote at the Adams County Safe Room, also known as the Lewis Gunning Safe Room. And Ward 6, you will vote at Duncan Park Canteen. That's when you go into Duncan Park, it will be the building on your right-hand side. So, again, when you go, make sure you wear your mask. If you don't have your mask, they will have masks at all of the precincts available for you. So they will give you a mask if you happen to forget a mask. The question is, are they mandatory? No, they're not. But I am strongly urging you to please wear your mask. Once you walk into the precinct, please sanitize your hands. When you leave the precinct, sanitize your hands again before you leave the precinct. That way you don't pick up anything. It's a very good, what we call in microbiology, a good aseptic process to keep sanitizing your hands. And by all means, keep your hands, again, away from your face. It is so important to keep your hands away from your face. We are simply trying to prevent people from getting sick and prevent people from dying from COVID-19. COVID-19 is not on vacation. It is still out there. Please avoid congregating. And if you are, vulnerable with an underlying type of condition, you really need to make sure that you practice very, very good sanitation, and please stay away from crowds. So, Leon, do you have any questions for me there?
No, I don't, Mayor, but you fully covered about the election, and I was going to reiterate about the wearing your mask, wash often, and sanitize, because COVID-19, this is no joke.
It is no joke. It is no joke. and it is real. And, I'm going to tell you, I've seen cases where, this lady and her 3 sons all died within a week from COVID-19. I mean, this lady and her 3 adult sons all died from COVID-19, within a week's time. They died within days of each other. And, that's tough. It's tough when anybody dies from it. But, this will not be the last pandemic. Pandemics have existed for many years. I mean, when you go back in history and you look at diseases like Spanish flu, yellow fever, when you go into the European areas when they were faced with bubonic plague, also known as the Black Death, we've had diseases, pandemics of diseases in the past, and there will be pandemics down the road. I have to be honest with you. I taught this stuff for about 28 years when I taught microbiology.
I realized that. I remember that,
Yeah. I taught it for 28 years when I taught microbiology. I taught endemics, epidemics, pandemics. And, all those years that I taught this, and, I used various case studies of pandemics to demonstrate to students, how pandemics, how diseases spread and create pandemics, etc. And talked about many facets of it, and never expected to be faced with a pandemic. And especially being mayor at the end of my term, being faced with a pandemic. But, it goes to show you we don't know what the future holds.
Exactly, and that's why when they would say things complaining about the safety rules and regulations, I told them, I said, no, if anybody knows, Mayor Grinnell knows, because he talked about pandemics.
Yeah, I sure did. And, the key to pandemics is being proactive. You've got to be proactive in order to get ahead of it, in order to slow the spread, and to prevent major spikes of pandemics from occurring. One classic example, when you go back and look at Spanish flu back in 1918, and you study it, look at the history, you find that cities that were proactive during that pandemic, who were ahead of the game, they had lower fatality rates than cities that did not take any type of proactive measures. And that's what we did here in Natchez, is that we started off being very proactive. The city of Natchez, we were the first city in the state of Mississippi to form a COVID-19 task force. Your mayor, and I had the blessings of many support groups in this area to help me to form a task force. We have a task force meeting every Monday at 10 o'clock. There are about 68 people that are on that call every Monday morning. We have medical professionals. We have people from education. Your superintendent is on there. The headmaster from one of the parochial schools is on that meeting. We have people from Economic Development Council on there. We have even lay people and experts like Carmen Brooks Drake, who's on there. I mean, many people, a spectrum of people from the church community that are on that particular conference call for the task force meeting that we have every Monday. So we started that before any other city in the state of Mississippi, even before the governor put his COVID-19 council in place. The city of Natchez had its COVID-19 task force in place before any other city. And I had mayors from other places, like in Louisiana and Minnesota, and up in North Mississippi, to call me and say, how did you do it? And what I did, I just simply sent, my template to them, because if I can help some other city, I will help them. And that's what I did. I sent them what we were doing here in the city of Natchez in order to be proactive to try to reduce. We've had 15 deaths in this city from COVID-19. And it was actually my prayer that we would not have had a single death. But unfortunately, we had 15 deaths to occur in this city. So we are still working hard. We had a meeting today, task force meeting, trying to continue to keep the spread down here in Natchez, Adams County.
Yeah, I mean, it's invisible, but it is real.
That's correct. And the way you have to treat this virus is that you have to treat it as if everybody has it.
Exactly.
That's the practice you have to play. You have to treat it as if everybody has it. That's the way you reduce the spread of this disease. So, Leon, if there are no more questions, I'm going to go ahead on and end the show right now.
Okay, young man.
Thank you so much.
All right. 97.7 WTYJ 1240 WMIF. Correct studio time. We're looking at 34 minutes after the hour. And this has been Monday with the Mayor.
Bring the funk, Q.